All right, everybody, it's about 1:45 p.m. West Coast time on Tuesday, January 20th. This marks the one-year anniversary of Donald Trump's inauguration into his second term. Or as Donald Trump prefers to think about it, it's also Jeffrey Epstein's birthday. And 24 years ago, Donald Trump sent Jeffrey Epstein a birthday card with a handwritten note about keeping secrets that was scribbled inside the headless, armless torso of a barely prepubescent teenage girl. First, so I'm going to do some headlines here, and these headlines are going to focus primarily on Greenland, Europe, and Davos, which is currently going on right now. If you're a Trump supporter and you happen to see this video, you no doubt believe that all of the things that Donald Trump is doing to completely destroy the world order that has existed for the last 80 plus years is going to be in some way beneficial for you personally. When in reality, Donald Trump is destroying the framework of safety and prosperity that has existed between the United States, Canada, Europe, since the end of World War II. But I wanted to comment on that belief for 1 minute. You, as a Trump supporter, the reason that you believe that this wrecking ball campaign that Donald Trump is going on right now, you believe that, and you believe that's a good thing, and you believe that that is going to be some way beneficial for you personally, because you're incredibly stupid, and you are unimaginably gullible. You're very easily manipulated, and it's like each day you guys get up and you just, with tremendous enthusiasm, you shove that olfactory input device on your face. For Trump supporters, that's a nose. You shove that olfactory input device on your face all the way up into Donald Trump's musky, moist, sweaty, aromatic grundle. For Trump supporters, grundle means taint or perineum. The grundle, taint, perineum, is the space between Donald Trump's incredibly misshapen testicles and his anus, which includes his sphincter, which he lost all control of in the early 90s, and that's why he wears diapers to this day. You shove your olfactory input device all the way up into Donald Trump's musky, sweaty grundle, and you just inhale, man. You're like, oh, God, Daddy. Oh, God, Daddy, what do you got for me today? And the input that you take in is the leakage from those areas of Donald Trump. You deeply inhale and snort the leakage from those areas. And you're like, Martha, I got our talking points for today. And then you make videos on TikTok and social media from those talking points. And it's just like, oh man. And the rest of us are cursed with having to coexist with you and your 23 teeth and your sister wife and your daughter, who's also your niece. But it's like, you guys really believe that, I'm going to get to the headlines here in a minute, trust me, but it's like, you guys really believe that, Martha, Donald Trump is fighting for the forgotten man. He's sticking up for Americans, like real Americans, like white Americans. Donald Trump is fighting for white American. And in the last year, today is the first anniversary of his inauguration into his second term. And this is for Trump supporters. In the last year, Donald Trump's 19-year-old son, Barron Trump, has increased his net worth by more than $150 million. His son, Don Jr. has increased his net worth somewhere between $500 to $600 million. Even fucking Eric Trump, the dumb one, has increased his net worth by over $800 million. Donald Trump himself personally, according to an article in today's New York Times, has increased his net worth something like $1.4 to $1.5 billion. Because you dipshits buy tennis shoes from him and autographed Bibles. So a question for Trump supporters. Over the last 365 days, has your net worth increased anywhere between $150 million to $1.5 billion? No. You have the agriculture secretary. You watch videos from the agriculture secretary that says that you can have dinner for $3 that involves a tortilla, a piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli, and one other thing. That one other thing, that's right, it's Donald Trump's moist, sweaty, aromatic grundle. That's the magic ingredient that you guys... Martha, I need a cologne that smells like Donald Trump's moist, sweaty grundle. Anyway, let's dive in to Headlines with Hawk. On January 20th, the one-year anniversary of our collective descent into hell. New York Times, much more so than in the first 4 years in his first term, Donald Trump has begun his second term with what amounts to an all-out assault on many of the institutions and policy fuck the New York Times. I mean, when is Barry Weiss going to take over the New York Times as well? John Harris comments, Trump is on track to change the character of American government and this country's relationship with the world more profoundly than any predecessor in decades. A master of understatement, Mr. John Harris. Europe contends with a big new threat. The United States. This is from the Wall Street Journal, liberal rag that it is. President Trump's demands that Denmark hand over Greenland to the U.S. or risk a trade war and possible military action is confronting Europe with the unthinkable. Its major ally for more than 70 years has turned into one of its most urgent threats. I wish Europe would just be like, you know what, guys? Fuck off. And just shut the door. I think that's coming. The collapse of trust in the United States over the past year among, here's another thing. It's like, we can't say, we as Americans can't say to the rest of the world, sorry about this. We'll get it right next time, I promise. We apologize. This is not the American people. This is just Trump. This is just a Trump thing. Bullshit. We reelected Donald Trump in 2024. And don't you dare come into my comments and say that Elon stole the election for Donald Trump in 2024. Because every person who says that sounds exactly like the dipshits that stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021, shit in their own hands and smeared it on the walls. The Elon stole 2024 for Trump crowd has exactly the same amount of evidence that the 2020 Stop the Steal crowd has. That's a harsh truth. That is a harsh reality. And when people come into my comments and say, he wasn't shot and he didn't win, I look at you the same exact way that I look at the people who were inside the Capitol on January 6, 2021, who were like, hey, Martha, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to poop in my own hand and rub it on the wall. That'll teach Nancy Pelosi. You're the same people. You're the same exact people. I'm sorry, but you're the same people. Okay, let's get back to the headlines. Bonus quote of the day, Belgian Prime Minister Bart de Wever. Oh, man, can you imagine how fucked up my name would be if I was born in Europe? Until now, we tried to appease the new president in the White House. We were very lenient, also with tariffs. We were lenient, hoping to get his support for the Ukraine war. But now so many red lines are being crossed that you have the choice between that and your self-respect. Being a happy vassal state is one thing. Being a miserable slave is another. That's an interesting point, because every single white man that I know over the age of 25 who still supports Donald Trump is, I mean, they're all submissive, man. There is no creature or demographic in the United States today in January of 2026 that is more submissive, bootlicking, sloppy, messy bottom than white guys who still support Donald Trump. Anyway, Trump's threats push Europe towards divorce. Oh, divorce in the U.S. There we go. From Politico. As with a lot of failing relationships, it's been a story of arguments, unspoken tensions, and trying to keep up appearances in public since Donald Trump re-entered the White House a year ago. And that is exactly why I don't read Politico, because what the fuck was even that sentence? Continuing, but for many European governments, including America's longest standing and most loyal allies, Trump's threats of punitive tariffs against anyone who tries to stop him from taking Greenland was the final straw. Divorce, they believe, is now inevitable. Okay, those two sentences were better than the first one. A rupture in the world order. Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada said there's a rupture in the world order. Greenlanders are bewildered by Trump's actions. I saw some interviews with people who live on Greenland. They seem like really, really nice people. They seem like very nice, very considerate, very polite people. Yeah, I hope this works out for them. Jesus Christ. Denmark is sending more troops to Greenland. Okay. Canada has modeled a hypothetical U.S. invasion of Canada. Yes, we're going to go kidnap Bryan Adams and bring him back here. This trade war could be like any other. So that's the point to me. I mean, Donald Trump said earlier today that NATO is the enemy. The President of the United States today said publicly that NATO is the enemy. And Europe is going to end every trade agreement with the United States that it has, as is Canada, our two biggest trading partners, aside from all the Temu shit we buy from China. And Trump supporters think that he's playing 4D chess. I don't know what that is, but he's playing 4D chess, which I think is harder than regular chess. Is that 1D or 2Ds? Is regular chess 1 or 2Ds? There are no Ds in chess? Oh. I mean, it's like, you fucking potatoes, man. You think that all of the things that Donald Trump is doing are going to benefit you in some way. Do you know who is going to benefit from all of the things that Donald Trump is doing? 5 people. Donald Trump, Eric Trump Jr., Donald Trump Jr., Barron Trump, and Vladimir Putin. Those are the only people that are going to benefit from the things that Donald Trump has done for the last year. You fucking numbnuts still can't afford to buy eggs. But you're like, any day now, he's going to get to eggs. It's, Martha, eggs is next on his list. He put a 10% tariff on all of the major European nations and Nordic nations. And he said, unless you give me Greenland by June, those tariffs are going to go up by 20 to 25%. And Trump supporters still don't understand who pays the tariffs. It's the corporations, it's the foreign countries that ship all their bullshit over here. They're paying the tariffs. I did not envision, when I first became aware of the internet, I don't know, 30 years ago, and got the email account back then that I still have to this day, that opening up, giving every human being on the planet a computer device combined with a phone and a camera that contains literally almost every single piece of human knowledge that has been accumulated over the last 10 or 15,000 years, that it would make all of us dumber. But here we are. Here we are. Quote from Steve Bannon. So the trade war that's coming is going to fucking destroy the U.S. economy. Steve Bannon has thoughts, speaking of Donald Trump. And when I say this, don't think about it in a sexual manner, okay? He's driving deep. Remember our strategy. I say it every day. It's maximalist, a maximalist strategy. You have to take it however deep you can take it. And quite frankly, until you meet resistance. And we haven't met any resistance, honey. Okay, that's 16 minutes. That's enough of that shit. Well, wait, let me see what else I got here. A former National Security Council staffer said the following: with Trump, you have to resist the temptation to intellectualize what he's doing. These are all emotional responses flying all over the place. Gosh, it's almost like we elected a woman who's been on her period for the last 12 months, according to Republicans who constantly say a woman can't be president because they're too emotional. The EU chief warns there's no going back. I think that's the key thing right here. That's the other key thing. There's electing a Democratic president in 2028, which we should absolutely do, and who everybody should absolutely vote for. I don't give a fuck who the nominee is. Vote for them. It's never going back. There is no going back. There is only going through and going forward. And going through and going forward for the next 20 years are going to suck. They're gonna suck. And that's why I bought a house in the mountains in a little mountain town that has a population of like 300, and I live like 4 miles outside of that town. There are no people here. And that is just the way I like it. Yeah. I have more guns than neighbors. The European Union's chief executive called for permanent independence from the United States on Tuesday. Fuck yeah, have at it, dude. Do it. Framing President Trump's hostility towards allies as a rupture on the scale of 1971 Nixon. I don't know. Ursula von der Leyen remarks reflect the deep dis-ease hanging over the World Economic Forum. I guess that's the billionaire circle jerk that's going on in Davos, Switzerland right now. Which reminds me, there is a storm that is going to come across like the central U.S. over the next few days, like Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma, and Tennessee, and North Carolina, and Kentucky, and Virginia, and surrounding states up into the Ohio Valley. It's going to be like 2 to 3 feet of snow, plus 3 inches of ice, plus temperatures in the negatives. And Donald Trump is going to be in Switzerland. It's a shame that those are all red states. It really is. It's a shame that those are all red states, because tragically, a lot of people are going to die from this storm. And Donald Trump is not going to give a fuck. Okay. Trump's posts on Greenland darken mood at Davos. Don't care. Trump threatens 200% tariffs on French wine. And champagne, which only comes from the Champagne region of France. Who gives a shit, man? I mean, who cares anymore? Donald Trump sets America on the road to conquest. Yes. Yeah. You know, Donald Trump was the leader of the free world a year ago today. And since then, he has decided that he wants to be the leader of the Western Hemisphere, Northern, Central, and Southern America. That seems like a bit of a downgrade to me. And of course, those inbred fart-huffing dipshit Trump supporters with their nasals buried all the way up into Trump's musky grundle think that they're soon going to be showered in money and riches because of tariffs and Greenland. Yeah. Everything is terrible and we're all going to die, and I have very little hope about the future, but I'm trying to work on that because we have the midterms and the 2028 election coming up, which I am absolutely certain are going to save us from all of this. Once we elect Gavin Newsom president, everything is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Unless you're Palestinian. Okay, well, Martha, did he say that out loud? Zoran Mamdani has said that what Israel is doing in Gaza is genocide. Zoran Mamdani is taxing billionaires. 0 for 2 here in California. Anyway, please enjoy the rest of your week.